Polvorón is a type of heavy and very crumbly Spanish shortbread made of flour, sugar, butter, and sometimes milk. Polvo in Spanish means powder, which is exactly what the dough looks like. These take me back to my childhood in Belize. Let's see how we make them. You're going to need self-rising flour. If you don't have that in the pantry, you can make it at home, all right? So just get some all-purpose flour. So to every cup of all-purpose flour, you're going to remove 2 teaspoons of the flour out and then add back a teaspoon and a half of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. That's how you make self-rising flour. So I have 2 cups of self-rising flour, half a cup of confectioner's sugar, 1 cup of butter, and we're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. That's all you need. 4 ingredients. This is hard time biscuit or cookie, all right? So let's start by putting the butter, 1 whole cup. This is why I kind of refrain from making cookies in here, because butter is expensive and cookies use a lot of butter. Then add the sugar just like if you would add granulated sugar. And then now we're gonna blend this for just a couple of minutes or so. It's gonna blend up pretty quickly because we're not using granulated sugar, we're using confectioner's sugar. And for my version of the polvorón, we're not gonna use any milk, all right? We're just gonna use these 4 ingredients: the flour, the sugar, the extract, and of course the butter. See how quick that was? Let's add our extract. 2 teaspoons. Jada's running camera right now, and she was the one that gave the show these gorgeous teaspoons. Well, it's a set, right? And next video coming up, Jada's gonna be on camera with me. That's another cookie video. I wonder if we even needed this hand mixer. I've never tried it without the hand mixer, but you might not need it. Let's go ahead and add the flour. And remember, if you did this separate, if you were making self-rising flour at home, this is when you'd be adding the baking powder and the salt. That's what I was saying earlier. You don't need to add baking powder and salt to this because it's in the self-rising flour. And I'm only doing this because I don't want it to fly everywhere on the counter and on my camera lens. But we're just going to keep adding the flour and blending until it looks something like this. This is not the kind of cookie dough that's going to get sticky like chocolate chip or maybe even oatmeal raisin, which is one that I'll be doing soon too, guys. Let me get my ring off, clean off my spatula, and I'm just going to work on clumping this together because we're going to put this in some type of plastic wrap. I don't have any shrink wrap right now. You guys know what I mean by shrink wrap, right? Because I don't call brand names here on my show. Any kind of plastic wrap will do. I'll grab a bag, clump it up together. Let me see if I have a piece of a bag in here from squishing tortillas or masa for tortillas. I used to love this cookie. I used to call it biscuit when I was growing up in Belize. And for those of you that don't know where I'm located, I'm in Southern California, about 50 miles east of LA. Let me just patiently work on this to get it all the little crumbs together. I'm going to set this on the fridge for a little while, at least 50 minutes to a half hour. Then we're going to roll these into balls. All I can say is be patient so it can form together, right? Wrap it up, put it in the fridge. I'll see you guys in about a half hour. Like I clean up the mess now. Nobody there for play sous chef today. Jada stopped run camera, Jody run camera. After about 15 minutes in the fridge, this is what it's gonna look like. It's smooth when you cut it, but it's still kind of hard to roll because it is a crumbly type dough. So you just kind of want to squeeze instead of rolling, all right? Just going to squeeze it all together, roll it in a bowl of sugar, and just set it on a greased baking sheet. Use the bottom of a glass, the flat bottom of a glass or a cup, and just squish it down. We want to flatten it. to make it very thin. It's supposed to be left like this, alright? Now the dough is still a little bit too cold. I might let it thaw out a little bit longer and then just cut off a piece. Kind of squeeze it like this. You really can't roll it into a ball because remember this one was crumbly. So just squeeze it around. Roll it in the sugar. And get your tumbler or your glass and press. Yeah, let me let it thaw out a little while longer before I continue, alright? Alright guys, I've used every cup I can find to try to get it to go. But this cookie dough is crumbly, so you gotta have some crumbles. Sprinkle some sugar on the top. See, I've used all these 3 cups. Now the oven is up to temperature at 350 and these go for 25 minutes. So let's get them in. This is right at 25 minutes later. They're looking pretty good, but I want to go ahead and switch the trays around. I'm going to put the stuff that's on the top shelf onto the second shelf and vice versa. I'll do that from time to time if I want the stuff that's on the bottom shelf to get more brown on the top, and if I want the stuff that's on the top shelf to get more crunchy on the bottom of the cookie. So that's why I switch things around from time to time. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, they're ready. We don't want to keep them too long or else they'll burn. Put them right here on my wire cooling rack. And I'm going to have to let these sit here for like 5 to 10 minutes until they kind of set or harden before I remove them with my spatula. Here they are 5 minutes later. Let me see if they're ready. Let me grab my spatula. Let's get off the first one. Oops. No, it's cracking. Let's go for this one. Very carefully with them, alright? This is like a shortbread. So they're hard yet delicate. I have to like keep and test it. Yeah, you already know this is going to break very easily. They're a crunchy type cookie, but they break very easily. I have to sit them here for like 10 minutes for them to set. Maybe you could put it on parchment. Alright, I didn't do too bad. I only broke a few. And those go into my mouth. Anyways, let me go ahead and taste. Hold on guys, hold on. This is my sample. This is my baker's dozen. How many did we get? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Only 11. Oh my god. It just hit me. Who remember these? You still get these in the Lay's? You might. It is so good. The sugar on the top sets it off. Buttery. I'm sure this is not good for you, so I'm warning you, eat one and run away. Put the rest in a tin or something, alright? So this is polvorón. Well, we say polvorón, but I think Spanish people say polvorón. I don't really know. Let me bite another piece. Make me dance. You guys, don't forget to share the video. That's how the news about the show gets out. Don't forget to like it. If you're watching me on Facebook, follow the page. If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe to the page. And I look forward to your comments. Be my mother at either location. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye. Don't lick your fingers, alright? Go wash your hands.
Meanwhile, I'm making pancakes, if you guys saw that.
Wash your hands, get that sugar off. Because we're not trying to gain no 15 pounds between now and New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, alright? Say hello to Mama. Hi, everybody.
This morning with one local family.
Each get a certain amount of calories to lose. Look what I have.
Your hands